Good morning. Let's take a look at some of the green screens yesterday and some of the losses. Tempted in by some lower tiers. And as I've said last Saturday, if we focused on the Premier League and the elite leagues only, we'd get a far greater strike rate than if we were tempted into the Championship and Norwegian elite SerieA, despite doing all the checks and balances. It's the elite leagues on a Saturday, I think, where you'll retain most of the profit. Just want to start with a mention of horse racing. I'm slowly practicing creating green screens using support and resistance lines on probably the first 3 or 4 volume wise in the market. So some promise. Certainly if I get a breakthrough, I will pass it on. Some of these didn't record, which is a pity because they were really big green screens. But with big green screens comes a big liability. That's the problem with horse racing trading. You need a very big liability in order to create a decent green screen, not 56p. You can create a £25 green screen with about 1,000 liability. So that gives you some indication of the Achilles heel with horse racing trading. But I think a simple support and resistance element to it should see success. Monaco and Paris Saint-Germain. Let's work the late ones. Now, you know as well as I do, Monaco are pre-Champions League, so you're on high alert to a Monaco cock-up, which indeed was the result, 0-1. And yet again, while watching the match, all those poor suckers who've piled on to Monaco, not bothering to do any research whatsoever or looking into the context of the match. Paris FC being newly promoted, Monaco pre-Champions League, looking at pre-Champions League results already today or yesterday and seeing a real pattern that the upcoming fixtures are that important. Sides are just not turning up for their domestic league football. Monaco, Atalanta, etc., etc., etc. yesterday. So all covered. I doubled up. So I've got an experiment with the +1. So if it ends a draw, and an experiment with the match odds, as you can see there. Get a bit frustrated picking up all of these losses all of the time. Liability loss if we get that goal, and then a loss on the draw. That's there though to try to tempt you to stay in for the big money. So that's an option to cover the 1-1, the +1 market. This is the Achilles heel along with the 3-1, as you'll see later on for our insurance covers. 3-1 is a killer scoreline. It turned up twice yesterday. That is a big anomaly. It's just one of those hiccups along a season. It's not going to happen that often. Just happened to get caught out 2 in a row. Thun and Sion. I was seeing lots and lots from Sion yesterday. Not the favourite by any stretch. 2-1 down. A very, very late lay, or a back of the draw, I think in this case. Very, very late on at increased odds, as you can see there. Keep the liability low. If they get a late goal, we're fine. But yesterday should have been all about keeping your liability low, particularly playing pre-Champions League sides. Entella and Empoli. This is a smash and grab. I don't recommend it that often because it's a high liability. For a £21 stake, £62 liability. Head off to the match odds market. It was one-way traffic for Entella. Virtus Entella, one-way traffic, momentum up, expected goals up. Importantly, Empoli, their expected goals was absolutely woeful. We got a late winner from Entella. Well, backed at 6s. Oh, sorry, that's to get out. Yeah, backed at 6s. So my profit in this case is the difference between that liability there and that game there. It's high risk because if Empoli get a late goal, and they could, if they've kept it 0-0 for 89, 90 minutes, they could nick it late on. You have to be very selective with your match choices for these. In-play stats helped massively there. Paris Saint-Germain and Nice, another underperforming pre-Champions League side. No coincidence this at all. Should have got a lot more on there. Volos and Panathinaikos, insurance pays. I didn't take a screenshot of the insurance, so you ignore that completely. That's covered by a cover of the current scoreline, which was 1-0 to Volos. Again, heading outside of the Premier League, La Liga, Spanish La Liga, Italian SerieA et al. Starting to pick up these hiccups, despite the stats being emphatically in favour of Panathinaikos. And that's the story of yesterday. We're getting caught out by emphatic stats in these lesser leagues. This was the loss of the day for me. Very disappointed. Bodo Glimt pre-Champions League, pre-Europa League, I believe. Did the covers of both teams to score, yes, and 2-1 to Vålerenga, but Vålerenga suddenly making it 3-0, completely against the run of play. I checked as well. Do Bodo Glimt have pre-European club competition distractions? Every single match this season for Bodo, pre and post Champions League, they've either won comfortably or drawn, scoring 2 goals at least. So I did my checks, but this is a warning to you. Pre-Champions League, once you see the patterns, Atalanta, etc., once you see those patterns, maybe it's not a good day to trust these sides. Talking of trust, well, thankfully my liability was very low on Sheffield United derby. I had it in my head that I did the similar to Bodo Glimt. So that, I'll take the hit there. We were very, very unlucky here. Very unlucky. Because the second goal went to Derby, but that was care of a penalty. And then Sheffield United scored. So had we taken a goal not scored from open play out, we'd have been in with a shot at a decent return. This value's in the eye of the beholder. Grimsby, Ebbsfleet Town, extremely good value for Grimsby, even though they're 2.06. They're playing 10 men. They are at home. They're pre-match favourites. They've reacted well to the red card. Ebbsfleet are leading as well, so you're getting even better odds about the lay of Ebbsfleet and the back of Grimsby because of that lead for the 10 men. Great stuff from Grimsby. Cheltenham and Bradford. Not sure what I did in that one. I think these are... Oh no, Udinese and Atalanta. Again, pre-Champions League. I'm glad I delayed here. Really glad. You can see, keep the liability ultra low. Should have done this for Bodo Glimt. That gives you an idea of how to treat these pre-Champions League sides with kid gloves. Keep your distance, liability-wise. Very important. And a bit of the old swing of the old bat. Jablonec 0-3 down to Zlin, 1.67 home favourites. Now this should be the liability for these lower tiers, like the Czech One League, like the Norwegian Elite Serie. Get the idea, not the full liability. This is the kind of loss I can tolerate. We did get a goal back from Jablonec, but they didn't oblige. Well worth doing, a 0-3 lead at half-time against the 1.67 home favourite. We had matches like this yesterday, pre-Champions League Copenhagen leading 3-0. Time and time again, these sides led and they conceded, taking the eye off the ball. In the Premier League, no real trades for me yesterday. London Derby did lay Crystal Palace at very short odds. Because it's a London Derby, plenty of time left in the match. The red card killed off any play in this Fulham-Wolves match at 1-0 to Fulham. It was alive at 1-0 to Fulham, 11v11. Nottingham Forest and Man United, new manager syndrome. Sean Dyche unlocked the forward line. Now he's got to unlock the defence. Man United continue to be effective in converting their very well created chances. London Derby and well done to Liverpool looked purring yesterday. Absolutely superb. Why? Because they had the vast majority of the Klopp side back. Very well played yesterday. Aston Villa, very, very unlucky to lose, to be honest. 2 mistakes. One of them from old Clown Show in goal. And the second one was a ridiculous clearance from the back, going to no one. Liverpool intercept, and it's soon in the back of the net. 2 mistakes defensively from Aston Villa cost them yesterday. Liverpool got away with it, but they converted. That's the important thing there. English Championship kept very, very quiet yesterday in the Championship. Don't think, this was the troubling one, wasn't it? 1-3 scoreline again. That's what I was mentioning. Yes, we were okay at 0-1, but then we get a penalty to make it 0-2. And then Sheffield United get the goal to make it 1-2. Very disappointing. Let's look at the Premier League in isolation. Let's look at the elite leagues in isolation and just show you how you can really cut down on your trading on a Saturday. So here, I would have laid Crystal Palace late on 2-0 up. That would have been it. Would have laid the very, very late draw here, given Man United's recent late goal history. So that would have been it. Next league we would have been looking at would have been French League 1. Look for a Paris Saint-Germain late goal. Cover the insurance if you're going to play pre-Champions League Monaco. Look at all of these. All sub 1.6 over 2.5 goals yesterday. This is the pre-Champions League concern. Just blunts everything. So a couple of plays in France yesterday. German Bundesliga, any plays there yesterday? Well, we were talking about over 2.5 goals, weren't we, yesterday? And we highlighted these matches, 1.6 or lower. Got the goals before half-time. Not Union Berlin-Freiburg, that wasn't one of them. Leipzig was. And I think Heidenheim and Frankfurt were. So we got the goals before half-time, and we got an over 2.5 goal trade here, out at 55th minute. We got a very late goal for Werder Bremen. So this would have been a losing over 2.5 goal trade. And this was a winner. So we're on to something with the Bundesliga there. Your next elite league would be SerieA. If you're going to play, you've got to cover that 0-0. Or cover that 1-0 lead for Udinese. Pre-Champions League 0-0. I wouldn't have laid that 0-0 late on. Como deserved something there as well. Juve, more comfortable. But Cremonese did make it 1-1. And your last elite league, well, the Norwegian elite, Dutch Eredivisie, another cock-up for a pre-Champions League side. Pre-Europe, go ahead, Eagles losing. Easy as you like for them. So no real trade for me in the Eredivisie. So you see, if you stick to your elites on a Saturday, you're really restricting the matches, but you've got quality. There was no real plays there yesterday with such a comfortable Atletico Madrid home win. Clicking again with second half goals. I'll pass that on 65th minute if you laid the draw there. Desmond Tutu there, I suppose, if you wanted that. No real angles in. So that's the secret to success on a Saturday. A focus on the elite leagues. That would have got rid of that Bodo Glimt loss, the Sheffield United loss, etc. So let's look at today's trading angles. Remembering pre-Champions League, pre-Europa League. Which side is going to cock it up today? We just don't know, do we? Which side is going to be the Atalanta and the Bodo Glimt? So with a focus on the elite leagues in mind, we'll walk swiftly through the Austrian Bundesliga. Another couple of odds on favourites at home today. Always piques my interest. Jupiler League. Well, the Favs all performed yesterday, but this is one of those leagues to avoid today. At least that's what the pre-match odds are telling you. It's a tough set of fixtures there. Czech 1 League. Sparta Prague might be pre-European club competition, and therein might be vulnerable. We will see. Danish Super League. Any of the big guns out? Brøndby will have a look in. And Vejle. You tend to see over 2.5 goal in Vejle matches at 3 o'clock, so watch out for that one. Tend to be reliable, old Vejle, from a neutral perspective. English Premier League, West Ham against Newcastle. Oh my God. 4 out of 4 consecutive home defeats for the Hamsters. And Newcastle, consecutive 0-0s away, ending with a 2-1 defeat to Brighton. Pre-Champions League, pre-European club competition, Newcastle. A home match against Atletico Bilbao on Wednesday. So that has to be factored in. And the fact they're away from home, new manager element for the Hammers as well. It makes for another tough afternoon. Manchester City against Bournemouth. Man City are going to have to be at their best. Losing again. Champions League affected. Losing last week along with Chelsea, along with Liverpool. Is this going to be another week where they're going to be affected? Tend to see it in waves. You saw Liverpool winning yesterday. Chance for Man City to do similar, and Arsenal winning as well. Bournemouth have failed to score only once, but looking in isolation at their matches against other Champions League sides, there could be struggles today for them. They have only failed to score once, but 0-1 against Tottenham and 0-0 against Newcastle suggests that the Champions League sides tend to have a little bit too much nous for the cherries. So let's get back to the Sunday coupon there. So they might be a little blunted today, but if ever there's a chance to take on Manchester City, as you know very well, as you saw very well yesterday, it is pre-European club competition. But at home, they're a different animal. 3 consecutive home wins. French League would enter the equation as an elite league. So again, if you want to increase the quality of your trades and remove the noise like we could have done yesterday with Bodo, Sheffield United, etc. Stick to the elite leagues at a weekend. This is a bookmaker's frenzy. That's why you're tempted in Championship, League 1, League 2. If you stick with the elites, you've got a better chance. Lens and Lorient. Lens very disappointing last week at odds on. Failed to deliver. Are they going to gain redemption today at odds on at home? Lille against Angers. Angers are a side you tend to take points off. Like Metz, who got the win last week. So watch out for that match. That's going to be fascinating. Metz getting a very, very rare win last week. Is that the momentum they need for this season? They are in awful form. And Toulouse have 2 goals in the locker. Le Havre are starting to creak. Newly promoted a couple of seasons back, but starting to creak. So some interest for me in French League today. I think there's some really good pre-match angles, at least from the recent fixtures that I've been trading with them. German Bundesliga, FC Köln are playing newly promoted Hamburg. In fact, both of these are newly promoted. And on that basis, it's a derby-style match, isn't it? These two are going to be penciling in 3 points against each other. So for me, it's a neutral play. You're going to be laying that draw. I haven't even done the research on this one. Wolfsburg and the mighty Hoff, 2.3 the favourite. With Hoffenheim, what you get is a tendency for a goal before half-time and a both teams to score element. 3 wins away for the mighty Hoff, 2 consecutive scoring 3 goals. It's surely signs of the end times when the Hoff are starting to win matches. So a potential both teams to score element, potential goal fest as well. Hoffenheim 3 away wins. They are far, far better on the road. Italian SerieA today. You know the drill. Pre-European club competition into Milan. Potential banana skin. Pre-European club competition for one of these two. I don't think Milan got in the European spots, did they? Roma, certainly. Derby style match, I wouldn't be offering any research pre-match on this one. Well, what we did with Inter midweek was simply lay the draw second half. Could be another one of those today. We saw a real pattern yesterday of these elite sides, Paris Saint-Germain, pre-Champions League sides, Atletico Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, getting to the 60th minute, 65th minute at 0-0. Bring on the cavalry, and then you get a sudden late surge, and then the winner. So watch out for that pattern today from Inter Milan. Pre-Champions League, I think. Should be on the Wednesday. There they are. They're playing Kairat Almaty. So they've got an easier encounter against Kairat. No win plays only 1 win. When you've got a side with no win and they are odds on favourite, take the hint. It's what I call the Union Berlin factor. We saw this last season with Union Berlin. Couldn't get a win in the opening half of the season. Suddenly, they're odds on favourite at home. Suddenly, they start winning. Torino and Pisa. This has a good chance of being 0-0 for a long period here. I would slightly favour Torino on their goal scoring this season, but laying over 0.5 goals at the start of this match, I think, would be a good avenue in. Parma, where Parma goals don't tend to follow. They are 0-0 experts, so they are playing a Bologna with a 2-goal habit. Yeah, scoring 2+ goals away from home, Bologna, but they did have a 0-0 recently against Torino, who were also defensively stout. So Parma might be able to keep Bologna quiet for a little bit. You could lay over 0.5 goals at the start of this match as well, preempting a 0-0. That's what I would do here. It's going to cost you very little. And if you can get that 0-0 running until half-time, you could even lay the draw second half for a free bet. Nice work. Milan and Roma, derby-style match, pre-European club competition for Roma. I think it's the Europa League. Or maybe the Europa League isn't playing, or it's playing on the Thursday. I think it might be playing on the Thursday. Yeah, indeed. So they've got a bit of a gap. You can see Go Ahead Eagles losing yesterday, Nice losing, Freiburg failing to win, etc., etc. Panathinaikos, no, was that who we played yesterday? Aston Villa losing. So it is, in fact, infecting these sides as well. Roma playing there against Rangers. So they're going to have that in mind. They've got a bit of a gap, 4 days. This would be another elite league that I would consider a singular focus on, the Eredivisie. I haven't really done the research for it, but I do like sides like AZ Alkmaar, Twente, not priced though today. So it's in-play stats only. And Utrecht and NEC Nijmegen are in a bit of form, both of these two sides, full of goals as well. A difficult coupon to pick out today. Norwegian Elite Serie, well, you saw Bodo Glimt completely cock it up yesterday. I like Tromsø when odds on. They went through an emphatic winning sequence earlier on in the season. So I like them when odds on. That will certainly get my attention at 6:30. 6:15. I'll just keep a basic eye out on these, but you saw once you, on a Saturday and Sunday, once you disappear away from the elite leagues, you start putting your liability in trouble. Pork and cheese, big derby style match, Porto against Braga. Those odds are a little bit too short with that in mind. So that would be interesting at 8:30 if I could stay up for that. And La Liga, Levante against Celta Vigo, 2.5 the favourite, 1-1 Merchants, Celta Vigo. And that's the only research I did. They are simply 1-1 Merchants, like Atalanta at the moment. That's the angle. So if Levante are leading 1-0 late on and Celta Vigo are having a good go for an equaliser, that's your angle. Play around that 1-1 scenario. Alaves and Espanyol. Only one defeat, plays only 2 defeats. So no wonder it's 2.38 the favourite. Barca, pre-European club competition. Got that loss against Sevilla recently, which was I think that was post-Champions League, pre-international break. So they are potentially vulnerable. This could be another one of those blueprints, like those sides you saw yesterday. 60, 65-minute struggles at 0-0. Make some substitutions, get the 1-0 or 2-0 win. Or it could be more emphatic, like a lot of La Liga sides yesterday, Villarreal, Real Madrid, emphatic wins to 0. Real Betis and Mallorca, well, odds on for Real Betis at home. 3 wins at home for Betis, Mallorca struggling away from home. Betis have failed to score only in their last match, so we'd be expecting of them today. Just a quick look at the XG analysis with this video running over today. Very healthy expected goals difference for Newcastle there, plus 6.27, meaning they're creating more chances than they're giving away to their opponents. Music to their ears playing West Ham today. You can immediately see a healthy profile for a team, and their expected goals in offence is far greater than their expected goals defence. That's a bit tighter. What's the standout here? Well, Manchester City's 1.89 expected goals a game, creating enough for 2 clear goal-scoring opportunities from the quality chances created. And, of course, when you've got Erling Haaland in the side, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to suggest that's very much on the cards today. Defensively, stout enough. Bournemouth not seeming to really conjure up too much, but 1.4 is leaning towards creating enough for one, at least two a game. Don't forget, they've only lost once this season to Liverpool. They're in a really good bit of form. The AI has gone with a 2-0 or a 3-1 to Man City, which feels about right on that 1.89 XG. Two very similar sides, you can see, can't you? Very similar offence and defence, both newly promoted as well, making this a difficult one, really, for us to unpack. Problematic XG, isn't it? Slightly problematic. Unlike, was it Man City? The XG in defence is bigger than the XG in offence. That's not a good profile, is it, for these two? There could be trouble ahead for Wolfsburg today. We've got one of these congruous matches where you've got Hoffenheim with an expected goals in offence of 1.7 against a Wolf, allowing sides enough to create 1.76 expected goals a game. That suggests 2 goals for the Hoff today is a distinct possibility. The Hoff are also giving sides a chance to score. So we could see both teams to score element with the Hoff eyeing 2 goals at least today. So a bit of a longer video today, but I hope you can tolerate it. I'll be seeing members of FootballTradingProfits.com on Telegram, and I might hop on to do a YouTube live stream. It seems to be the best way rather than pre-prepare it, because my internet went down yesterday and it completely cocked up the pre-prepared one. So I'll if I do one, I'll do one on spec today, and I'll send you the link on Telegram members. See you throughout the day. Sundays have tended to be very good, to be honest. We got rid of all the noise. We get rid of all the noise from yesterday. We've got a good chance of getting some profits today. Where it was a losing session for me yesterday, I'm hoping for a gain today and to push on as the week progresses. Have a great day, and I'll see you on Telegram throughout the day.